Blog Talk Radio.
Transition, the process of change from one condition to another.
We are now at a new crossroads where change is evident once again.
What does not serve us must transform us anew.
Returning to our original state of oneness and true nature of that which created who we truly are.
Confusion was the way of the past. Enlightenment is the way of the now and future. Shedding away the layers of sin.
We now bring you the transformation of the two who started as one. Our fearless planet never stands still.
Earth has been in a process of transition. We are not exempt from this remarkable ongoing reality.
Welcome to Transitions Radio.
Well, hello, everyone. My name's Angelo, your host.
And I am Lynna Lopez, your hostess.
We are broadcasting live from the beautiful land of enchantment, Silver City, New Mexico.
At this time, we wanted to take a moment to thank our sponsors, thebreastformstore.com. They have everything you can imagine to enhance your feminizing needs.
As well as Spunk Lube, which is an award-winning personal lubricant that's glycerin-free, non-staining, 100% sex toy safe with all materials, and it's fun to use. It is available in Spunk Lube Hybrid,
Spunk Lube Pink,
and our favorite, Spunk Lube Pure Silicone.
Visit their website, www.spunklube.com, to check out their amazing line of products.
And if you use that code TR, guess what? You're going to receive a 10% discount.
Please support Transition Radio by clicking the donate button. No small amount is too small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
No small amount is too small. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, does it make sense now?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, Transition Industry has been serving the LGBT community for almost 3 years now. We want to embark in a new focus, and instead of the continual separation and labels, we want to bring light to a bigger picture, our species. That's right, the human race.
Along with our planet and the amazing changes we are seeing. So from now on, we will no longer be placing focus on one particular group, and instead we'll be shedding light to the whole of the sum.
We want to take a special moment to thank all of our haters.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like, wow, guys.
They're giving us more notoriety.
Exactly, and it's amazing how many more people are now listening, watching, commenting, sending us email, telling us what a great job we're doing, that we're actually educating, and we're actually bringing some sanity to the insane roller coaster that our community has been on. And you know what? Haters will be haters, and we will always love you back. And it's...
Well, the fact is that negative publicity is still publicity.
Yes.
So those of you who do hate and want to spew all your hatred out on any kind of social media means or whatever you want to do, know that you're just giving us a bigger platform when you do it.
Exactly. And you know what? We decided not to give you any more attention and just hate away, do what you need to do. We will continue doing what we love to do and what we've been placed here to do.
Oh, definitely.
We're definitely a trans couple who have a show, and we don't speak for the community. We don't? We don't. They're saying that we do.
Know that.
I know, and we do not represent the community. Our views are ours and ours alone.
That is amazing. I mean, I thought that we represented everybody else in the trans community.
I guess that's what some people are saying. And they're trying to just create this feeling of hate and create this whole circus that's only making them look like fools.
Yeah. Well, I think that has just given us more impetus to move in another direction and to steer away from just focusing on LGBT issues or trans issues in particular.
Yes.
I think the show deserves a bigger platform.
Oh, definitely. There's a lot of changes going on in the world, and the transition, which was the original idea that I had when I started Blog Talk Radio before even putting on the show.
You started Blog Talk?
Well, I didn't start Block Talk. I started, I
created
a page.
You started Transition Radio itself?
It wasn't called Transition Radio. I had the Blog Talk set up to talk about New World Order issues, spirituality, the Great Awakening, and just to educate people what's going on in the world with all the spiritual things and of that nature.
So we're just going back to the original plan.
The original plan, exactly.
That's great.
Exactly. And, how much more can we report on trans issues? How much more can we interview? I mean...
Well, I think the rest of society is already climbing on board with it.
Exactly.
So I don't think they need us to give it more.
No. And the drama. I mean, I want to focus on things that are drama-free, focus on positive people. There are great individuals in the world that are not trans, that are not LGBT. They're very spiritual, open-minded.
14,
exactly. And spiritually open-minded. And, they deserve a mention. They deserve a spotlight. And there's just a lot of things out there to talk about. So we're just, matter of fact, a trans couple that have a show.
Yeah, well, actually, we're human.
Yeah.
We're part of the human race.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of things going on in the world today, that we would like to talk about.
Yes, and bring focus to. And I think...
Try to educate.
Yes, bigger, broader spectrum, and with much more positive outlook. Anyway, speaking of positive outlook and speaking of broader things, McDonald's is having issues lately.
No way.
Yes, that big arch that's been around forever with fast food is having problems. McDonald's, the place where we feast upon Big Macs, Egg McMuffins, and even the occasional sweet chili chicken McWrap in the U.S., the fast food chain founded in 1948. Can you believe that? Boasts by far the largest annual restaurant sales, almost triple the volume of Subway, is nearest competitor, according to QSR magazine, a trade publication for the industry.
These days, things do not appear so golden at the home of the Golden Arches. McDonald's recently reported that its net income in the fourth quarter of 2014 dropped by 21% from the year earlier period. Nation's Restaurant News, in another major trade publication, went so far as to declare the chain's overall 2014 performance as possibly the worst ever in decades.
Can you imagine that? These people are supposed to be the giants of McFries and burgers.
I mean, what did they say, like 5 billion served or something?
Oh, my God, yes. So what's behind this company's woes? Well, some industry experts say it's the Chipotle factor. And fast casual restaurants like the Mexican chain are seen as healthier, fresher, and contemporary-minded alternative to McDonald's menu.
You know what? Actually, Chipotle started by McDonald's. McDonald's bought them out. So I don't understand why they're complaining about Chipotle.
I know.
When they're the same people.
Chipotle's earnings were up by 52% in the most recently reported quarter, and even that wasn't high enough to meet Wall Street's expectations.
There's also the threats posed by small but much-loved burger-centric chains like Five Guys and Shake Shack, which are also generally considered fast casual. Shake Shack saw its stock price soar by more than 125% during its recent first day of trading. Other experts point to a different culprit, namely the now sizable menu at McDonald's, which goes much more beyond burgers and fries to incorporate wraps, salads, gourmet coffee, and even a yogurt parfait, milkshakes, blizzards, all these things that they're doing.
Well, a recent Wall Street Journal report noted that the menu has grown from 85 to 120 plus items over the last 7 years. Sounds like they're getting a little greedy, and that's usually what happens. Greed takes over and everything gets messed up. The cause of concern, the bigger the menu, the greater the potential for slow service. Not exactly a plus in the fast food game. Indeed, when QSR measured wait time fast food restaurants in 2013, as part of a continuing study, it found that service at McDonald's was the slowest it's been in 15 years, with a typical drive-through order resulting in a wait of 189 seconds. Burger King was even slower.
Oh, my gosh. So they're pushing more people out to that extended parking lot, where they say, hold on, we'll bring your order to you. It's like a bunch of cars piled up.
Yeah. Well, I think when McDonald's started back in the day, and that was part of the industrialization where women's lib, when they push women to go out and work, and then, we weren't getting that home-cooked meal anymore, and McDonald's kind of took advantage of that whole Rockefeller pushing in kind of that direction. Exactly. And
people not eat at home anymore.
Exactly, which has been the downfall of the family. You know, I'm all for women's lib and all of that good stuff, but I think we've lost a lot of value by watering down the true essence of a nice home-cooked meal, all these fast foods, this, that, and the other. I mean, that's why we're seeing all these diseases. People are getting fatter. They're having a lot more complication, not only physically but mentally. We don't have the lifestyle that we had maybe 15 years ago, before the TV, before all these fast chains, before the washer and dryer. Call me old-fashioned, call me whatever you want to call me, but I believe that we are heading in a very bad direction as a human race, and we need to really step back, look at the roles that we're playing, look at the life that we're leading.
I think it's dangerous, though, because, I mean, you can see all the surveys and all the studies done in recent times, and the percentage of people that are overweight, and not just overweight, but obese, is skyrocketing here in the United States, whereas in other places in the world, they don't deal with so much heart disease, they don't deal with so much Alzheimer's and cancer. I mean, we should look towards what they're doing, you know, these other countries, that, you know, because we in the United States, we think that we're like, you know, the super nation, but there's so much going on that is destroying the actual lifestyle of the regular, you know, American citizen.
The sad thing is, though, other countries are not getting McDonald's. I was in Argentina, and they have the golden arches there, and other countries are getting just as lazy as America and getting just as bad eating habits or bad habits altogether, and their health are also falling apart. And people need to realize our body is your machine. You need to put the right ingredients in there. That old saying, you are what you eat, that is just not a plain old saying. It is reality. For everything that is not right that you put in your body will go into an imbalanced state. And what is an imbalanced state? Disease. Mm-hmm. And so we're seeing it with cancer, fibromyalgia, diabetes, you name it, heart attacks.
Cancer is really not something that comes from the outside. It's literally a rogue cell from your own body, right? Exactly. It's not like, oh, the cancer virus has come and attacked. I mean, it's a part of the human makeup that we all have cancer cells.
Yeah, every minute of the day we're developing cancer cells. Our bodies provide anti-cancer cells. There's like cells that fight the cancer, and voila, we heal. But what happens is, if your immune system is declined and you don't have enough of these cancer-fighting cells, the cancer takes over your body. Right. And that's what we're seeing.
Well, what is going on, though, with that is that people need to change their focus of what they look for in food. I mean, they look at food as some kind of what? They look at it not as a source of fuel, but as like a source of entertainment.
Yes, rewarding system. And we're taught this from the time we're little. And we'll be talking a lot about that. We're going to be focusing a lot on nutrition, bringing you up-to-date information on what you should eat, what you should not eat, how you should work out. You know, you need to empower yourself a little bit more and rely less on the couch, rely less on fast food and quick fixes, which only makes you sick in the long run. And
what's that? Is there this woman that has been, she's in the best shape of her life, but she's where?
In prison.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, Teresa Guidce, prison diet, fitness and beauty regimen revealed she is in the best shape ever in her life.
Although the Real Housewives of New Jersey star remains in prison at Danbury Correctional Facility, the reality star has found a routine that works for her. A source tells E! News exclusively that not only is Teresa exercising 3 times a day, she's also keeping up with her style. She says exercise helps her sleep. She does cardio, bikes, weights, and even Pilates. She does not miss a day. She does it religiously. She's extremely fit right now, the source tells us.
And that's amazing. Before I continue reading, 3 times a day, that's a lot for the average individual. But if we think about it, when we were natives, we didn't sit around watching TV. We were always doing something. Everything was manual. It was done by us. Nowadays, everything is...
I remember those.
Yeah, do you really? Me too. I used to climb up trees and,
You were a monkey?
Oh, I was a monkey back then. You see all the hair on my body now? But yeah, and it is. It's going on reading here. She says it herself. She is in the best shape of her life. People find different things to focus on when they're in prison. This is what she's throwing herself into. The Northeast has been experiencing some pretty intense snowstorms, so Teresa hasn't been able to take advantage of the prison's grounds. But when the weather gets warmer, the source tells that's E! News, that Teresa intends to use the prison's really nice outdoor track. That's what taxpayer money pay. Real nice track.
That's right. Yeah. She's not in a Mexican prison.
No.
She's doing her best to eat right, but it's a challenge. The prepared meals at the prison are processed, and the meals include a lot of starches and carbs, the source says. She's been very diligent in seeking alternatives, items from the commissary that are healthier. She always attends breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but sometimes she'll skip the meal and get something from the commissary after, like, tuna, the source says.
And that's important. People don't realize that, they think, well, I want to lose weight, so I'm going to skip meals. Your body requires food. And I used to always tell my clients, eat every 2.5 to 3 hours to keep your metabolism
like
low.
a squirrel, huh?
Yeah, we were gracers. We were constantly munching on things. We didn't sit down and have this huge meal like we're taught to. We would gracer. So it's important to eat every 2.5 to 3 hours, keep your metabolism going. And according to our source, life inside the prison really is like orange is the new black. Imagine that. Teresa has been getting her hair colored and styled and has even received some manicures. She wears the commissary makeup. There are inmates who specialize in hair, others who do manicures and pedicures. In return, you have to share your skill with them or pay them back with commissary items.
That's what Teresa does, the source says. Overall, she looks about 10 years younger, refreshed. All the angst leading up to her sentence is over. The stress has been lifted, the source says. She doesn't have to worry about the girls. They're in good hands. The only thing she's responsible for is getting herself through this.
I imagine that. You have 3 square meals. I mean, I know that your freedom taken away has to be a harsh thing, but I think we as humans go through so much stress and worry about so many things. Look, she talks about her being refreshed and looking 10 years younger. It's like in prison.
Wow.
So, it's like one of those things. It's like we think that being free, because they scare us.
Wait. Let's not put a disclaimer out for people to go to prison.
No, we're not. But what I'm getting at here is that the stress that we deal with on an everyday life, from the 9-to-5 job to traffic to all sorts of financial problems that we have to worry about, that is killing us. That, and besides eating all the wrong foods and not exercising. Right there, the woman's exercising 3 times a day. Probably meditates, does yoga, focuses on her. Society teaches us not to focus on us, but to worry about everything else outside of us.
Yeah, so they plaster us with bills and all these advertisements when we're watching TV, or even, men watching lots of sports, which is mostly male-dominated. There's a lot of women that watch, obviously, but it's all centered around advertising. And a lot of brutality. I mean, look at sports. I mean, they're hurting each other. They're trampling on each other. Competition, ego-based. That is what we're taught from the time we're little. What we here at Transition Radio want to do is to have you take a different look at life, not to just focus on self-pity and, what you don't have and what you want to have, and all these materialistic things that you think you need to get, and you need to go to college and get all these student loans and then have to pay them back and be stressed out. We want to be a source of relaxation, of empowerment for you. That is what Transition Radio's new focus is. Well, to realize that everything that you need is inside of you.
Exactly.
You don't need anything from anyone else.
No. And, we're going to be talking a lot in the future about religion. The show is going to be going on 3 times a week, so we're going to have a lot of different topics, and we hope to get people to call in with questions and concerns and all those different things, and get other communities involved in this transition that this human species is going through. Now, people are too indulged in Facebook. Facebook is, even we're to blame for that too, And it's like, really, there's a bigger world out there besides Facebook. The world could be falling apart, and I think they've done this on purpose, just to get us tunnel vision to our little phones, and just can't live life without Facebook.
Right.
Well, there's a little blurb here that I found. The bug that could have deleted any photo on Facebook.
No way.
Yes way. This week, a researcher named Waxman Mafia discovered a bug that let him delete any photo album on Facebook. and walked away with a $12,500 for his trouble. The bug targeted Facebook's Graph API, which let users delete their own photo albums with a single command corresponding to the delete album button.
Because of a mistake on Facebook's part, that request could potentially target any album on the network, as long as the user was logged in through the mobile version of the API. What's API? I don't know. It's Tech Talks or whatever geeks would know. Anyway, after some troubleshooting, Muthia settled on the following request as the silver bullet for deleting any album off the network. Oh, yes. I would hate that.
I know.
I like the pictures up there.
Yeah, a lot of us do that. We put all this stuff out there, making ourselves vulnerable.
Yeah.
I've never downloaded that messenger. I think that messenger is a spy program, and according to what I read, all sorts of stuff. They can like access your camera whenever they want, the microphone, and just it's almost like you're giving away.
I've heard that about the Xbox too, the one that that kids are using these days. That it has an actual ability to turn on the little web camera, and
Well, when we went from analog to digital, people never really asked the question, why are we doing this? Does the government really care the quality of vision watching you have? Really? No one's ever really, and one of the things called me a conspiracy nut that I read, because I used to do a lot of research, was that not only can you see, but now they could see you. And just like these webcams, just like they can listen into your phone, they can listen to your conversations, it's a scary thing because we have no privacy anymore.
What they did was they took bandwidth back that was available to the general public, and they made it theirs, So there's only so much, in the spectrum of, all that stuff. But they took it back and they regulated it to a smaller space where people can actually watch television and radio and all that.
I heard there was some sort of like storms that were taking place outside in the galaxy, and they needed analog was no longer going to be a viable option, so they needed to upgrade.
Like solar storms.
And things of that nature. I also think we'll be talking a lot about dimensional beings, aliens.
Right. I
think truly, and call us crazy, but if you think you're alone in this big vast universe, then you're the crazy ones because
it's got to be crazy to think that because as vast as this world, this universe is.
We're like a little speck. Just our galaxy alone is a small speck. With all these new telescopes, it's amazing the things that they're starting to see. New planets are being created.
They even said that there was a planet, and they named it or something, that has kind of the same makeup as planet Earth.
Yes.
And they saw, something that was very similar. So to think that life wouldn't exist anywhere but on this little tiny planet that we call the planet Earth is insane. It's like saying that the world is flat.
Roosevelt was president. There's big rumors that he sold us out to an alien race.
By the way, we are from New Mexico, so we can talk about these things because Russell's not too far away.
Yes, and you have to open up your mind. We think that everything is black and white, and there's so many shades of gray. We're taught to believe certain things. We're taught to believe Scripture, and all due respect, there's a lot of great, wonderful things in the Bible, but there's a lot of things in there that, we will be talking about that's going to come and give you guys what? Yeah. We've got so much stuff in store. We as humans have been given limited abilities. We have been programmed from the time we're little.
On purpose.
On purpose. This is all done on purpose.
Dumbest down.
Exactly.
It's like that whole, the human mind is capable of so much more, but it only uses 10%.
Exactly.
So there's so much more that's out there that if people would actually wake up out of the fog, they would realize that inside of them, they contain a person that is capable of doing incredible things,
including healing yourself, including, doing things beyond your imagination. We truly believe that as transgender individuals, we have such capabilities, and we are a hybrid, and we're meant to do something, and that's what we've been pushing a lot of our beliefs, but we're just not going to focus on that anymore. We're going to just show you guys amazing things, interview people from all over the world that have amazing stories, regarding the supernatural, regarding great inventions that are taking place, regarding the evolution of the planet as well as the species, because I believe it is the time. Now is the time.
Well, the planet is already doing its thing.
Exactly.
It hasn't stopped evolving.
Exactly.
I mean, when you look at what the Earth has done and over the billions of years that it's been around, and I know that I'll get, ridiculed and stuff. People hear that, me saying that it's 1 billion years old or more. But the fact is that, there's so many things that I was taught to believe that are inconsistent with how I see the world to be.
Exactly. We've been taught to think inside the box, not outside the box. And we've been given limited abilities and been programmed from the time we're little. Well, we want to help break that program here at Transition Radio Industry. We're going to provide you guys with amazing shows. And again, as I mentioned earlier, shows are going to be Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays now. And we're going to have an affirmation section every show. Monday's affirmation is, and by the way, for you, those of you who do not understand what affirmations are, you create these affirmations to help you evolve, to make you a better person, to give you a positive outlook on things, to focus you to I don't know, all the positive things that you could possibly think of. When you create positive affirmation, you get positive effects. The affirmation for Monday is, you will be a failure until you impress the subconscious with the conviction you are a success.
This is done by making an affirmation which clicks.
Let's try to explain this to you a little bit. Your subconscious is where all your programming is implemented. So if you program your subconscious that you're going to be a success, then that is what you will get. But you have to do things that are going to be right for you. You have to use the right techniques for you, because no two affirmation works for everybody. So you have to go deep within you and find out what works for you.
That's interesting because, a lot of times people look at life from the whole glass half empty point of view. And, this is simply trying to get people to look at things in the positive glass half full point of view. Because, whatever we speak is literally empowering either to do negative or to do a positive good for us or for others,
Exactly.
So, I think that's important, that instead of focusing on, I have to get up for work today again, and what's my boss going to think now? Instead of getting that whole, tidal wave of negativity, you wake up with a positive outlook, expecting good things to happen, wanting things to be able to make a difference in someone's life, and usually that's what happens.
Or change your life. What makes you feel you're stuck doing
the whole
something?
New Year's resolution thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, which people just do. It's almost like a bogus thing, because everybody sets up this New Year's resolution that they never follow through, because they don't mean it.
Right.
They really don't mean it. You have to do something that you really mean and really want. And if you hate your job, then why are you doing it? Because of fear? You need to empower yourself and not allow fear to take over your life. You'd be surprised that everything that you put your mind to, you can accomplish. That means leaving your job, creating a new avenue for you to make income, decreasing the amount of bills that you have. You don't need to live high on the hog. Material things are just there to distract you, to continue making you a prisoner, a slave of this world.
And to yourself.
And exactly. And it does not make you happy. Trust me. A bunch of things you think can make you happy. What makes you happy is having freedom, peace of mind, loving yourself, which then will bring the love of your life into the picture. And then together, you enjoy life. So we want to go ahead and let you know that the TV show will resume, but not.
It will.
We're working on all sorts of different.
We're working on it open. We're working on shooting more outside of the box stuff, and different segments and everything. So there's a lot more coming.
Yes, so we want to just keep you afloat with that. But in the meantime, we're going to provide you with a radio segment 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 4:30 Mountain Time, 6:30 Eastern Time. And we want to leave you by saying, if you can live your truth,
it's just not worth living.
Well, good night, everyone.
Good
See
night.
you Wednesday, and have a great one.